Hello guys, this is going to be a short little video talking about pivot points and how to work with that a little bit easier and how you can use that to get a lot more precision in your modeling. What you're looking at here is, if I hide the model, is the Goodyear blimp. This is the newest one as of 2016, Wingfoot 1 is what they call it. It's slightly different than the older blimps. The older blimps had a gondola that was in the center and had four fins on the back of it. The new one actually has three, and this is kind of a bad angle, but it actually has three. What I'll do is I'll unhide that, and I'll hide the plane there so we can see what's going on. So we've got the blimp structure, and we've got individual fins here. To get the blimp structure, you just create a cylinder, insert loops, and I'm not going to cover that in this video here. I just want to keep this focused on pivot points. And then model the top fin based on that image. The reason I did the top one was because as far as the actual pivot point, if I go to here, you can see it's just easier to put in solid numbers when it lines up with the grid view, or the grid axis, I should say. If you start working down here, you end up with weird measurements, and it's really hard to work with on that kind of thing. And you can actually see the pivot point for this top fin is in the center. Of course, that's the pivot tool there, and you notice the measurements are at 0, 0. To model the older blimps, what you would do is you would take that and you would just rotate it to 90 degrees using the angle snap tool. I've got this one set over here at 90 degrees, and I've got the pivot centered on the actual fin here. So if we go over here and look at that, you can see the pivot point is actually in the center of the fin. And what I need to do is actually get it down here so it lines up with, roughly the same angle as this. And again, that's where precision comes in. If I go to E there to go to rotate, if I try to rotate this fin right now, it's going to rotate around that central point, and that's obviously not going to work. You could use angle snap, rotate at the right number of degrees, and use object snap. It's probably not going to give you the same result either. Let me undo that there. To get this precision, let me just show you what the easiest way to do that is. So if we go over here to the hierarchy tab, and that's over here, click that. We go to effect pivot only. We go to center to object. That's going to center it here. Obviously we don't want that. We want the pivot. So I'm going to go to the select and move tool. Now I'm just going to center that. I'm sorry. I'm only going to center the Y. I want the X to stay the same. So let me start over on that just so that was clear. With the pivot point set in the middle of the object, and at any point I get screwed up with that, I can just go back and hit that, and it'll go back to the center there of that object. What I want to do is effect pivot only, select a move tool, and then I'm right clicking on Y, and that brings it to the center of the blimp. I want the X to stay where it is. Honestly, if you're only rotating in that direction, the X measurement doesn't make any difference. So we'll go to the rotate tool, and we'll turn angle snap on. I'll get a little bit closer here so you can see the result. But I'm just going to go down to about 40 degrees, which is what the other one was. And now I can see, if I go back here to this view, it's pretty much identical to the other one. So, And if I hit this, I'll zoom it to the center. Turn the edge faces off. So it ends up being pretty much identical. So that's how you would do that. Yeah, I'll just turn that back on. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit working with pivots. You know, you can, if you're working with multiple objects, I'll just go over this real quickly here. Let's say if you had 2 boxes, obviously you can use the snap to snap the objects together, which works fine. That's probably the best way to do it. If you wanted to, let's say, align that edge with this edge, the other way you could do it manually is actually move the pivot point on, let's say, this box here. So convert this to poly, and we'll go around here and we'll make sure we're on move. Manually copy that Y. We'll go over to effect pivot, center to the object. You don't have to do that, but let's copy the X and Y off of each one here. Yeah, I mean, you can see that this is the slower way to do it, obviously, but you can definitely do it this way if you get into a situation where the snap is not working correctly or the way you expect it. I'm just hitting Control C to copy that information down here. And then I'm going back to hierarchy, effect pivot, and then I'm just pasting that information into there. So now you can see that is there. So let's say I want that corner to be on this corner here. So what I could do is convert that to editable poly and actually get the X, Y, and Z off of that one. And I'm just copying that into the position data here. Copy the Y there. You can see it's lined up there. And now if I go back to, oops, if I go back to here, get the vertex height of that one. I realize this is off screen here, but let me zoom in a little bit. So now if I copy that Z right there, now you can see, let me zoom in here. So you can see those points are exactly lined up down to the vertex level. So I believe that covers everything I need to cover in this video, so hopefully that helps you out. Thanks for watching.